Welcome to my kitchen. Let's make lean and greens. Today we're going to be making Instapot barbecue pulled pork with a Greek yogurt slaw and an Italian zucchini bake. Whew. So let's get started. For the Instapot barbecue pulled pork with Greek yogurt slaw, you will need 1.5 pounds of pork tenderloin, cooking spray, 1 12-ounce can of diet root beer, 3 cups of shredded green cabbage, 3 cups of shredded red cabbage, a half a cup of plain low-fat Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1/4 of a teaspoon of celery salt, a pinch of stevia, a half a cup of sugar-free barbecue sauce. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with this recipe is brown the meat. Now, I'm not using pork. My boyfriend didn't want to eat pork, so I had some stewing bison in the freezer, and I had 1 pound. This recipe is probably going to work out for about 2 people instead of the 4, so I'm going to use what I have. So I have stewing meat, bison. I'm going to brown this, and I'm going to put it in the crock pot. I don't personally own an Instapot. My boyfriend does, but I think stewing meat tastes really good in the crock pot. We're going to do low and slow for about 7 hours and get it really good and going. So first things first, we got to get this meat a little brown, add a little flavor to it. So I got it on about medium high, and I'm going to brown this up. I'll be back when it's done browning. Alright, so it's only been a couple of minutes. I don't want to fully cook it. I just kind of wanted to get a little flavor on the stove. So now I'll show you what we're going to do next. So this is my crock pot. I have 1 can of root beer in here, and I put the meat in there. And then we're just going to set this to... What the heck, is this not working now? Okay. We're going to set this to low for 7 hours, and I'm just going to let this cook in the root beer for 7 hours. Okay, so we needed 3 cups of the shredded green cabbage and 3 cups of the shredded red cabbage. In the middle of a pandemic, I found the pre-mixed coleslaw blend. Granted, we're not supposed to be having carrots on the program, but it is what it is. So this is 6 cups right here. We're going to add the rest of the ingredients into this, and I'm going to do... Now, I didn't have celery salt. I thought I did, but I did have dill, so this is an acceptable substitute. So they wanted 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm going to put that in there. They wanted 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Or excuse me, 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. This is just a half a teaspoon marker, so. We're gonna need 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and if you have like this one, you wanna shake it up. We're gonna do some Dijon mustard, and we're gonna do a teaspoon of Dijon. We're also going to need a half a cup of Greek yogurt. And you're just going to want to mix this really well. And the thing with coleslaw is you really should make it like the day before, because the longer it sits in the fridge, the flavors just kind of combined a lot better. You get a better flavor. So we're not going to be eating this today. We're going to be eating it in a couple days probably. And that's when all these flavors are going to really meld together really nicely. I'm just going to stir this up. Alright, so this is all really good and mixed. I'm just going to cover this with saran wrap and toss it in the fridge, probably for all day today, and then tomorrow I'll portion it out into containers. So there's the coleslaw. Alright, so there's 4 hours left of the 7 hours. I just want to take a quick look, see what's going on with the meat, make sure everything is cooking up good. It should be. Not too terribly concerned about it. Yeah, it's cooking pretty good and looking pretty good. And it smells pretty good. So I think we're doing pretty good. So 4 hours, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I got the meat out of the crock pot. It's almost 10 ounces of meat, so that's gonna be about 5 ounces of meat per person, so like I thought too. All you're gonna do is take your sugar-free barbecue sauce. You're gonna take a half a cup, and you're gonna toss this. And then all you're gonna do to serve is have the coleslaw with it, and then your meat. And this works out to be 1 lean, 3 greens, and 3 condiments. So it's a pretty easy dish, and something you can make ahead with the coleslaw, because you definitely want the coleslaw sitting by itself for a while. And that is where we are at. And actually, I probably should have used less barbecue sauce, since this is only for 2 people instead of 4. That's what we got. For the Italian zucchini bake, you're going to need 10 ounces of cooked ground beef, 1 cup of canned Italian diced tomatoes, garlic powder, salt and pepper, 4 ounces of part skim ricotta cheese, 6 ounces of reduced fat mozzarella cheese, 3 tablespoons of reduced fat Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of egg beaters, 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 large zucchini sliced. First thing we're going to do is set the oven to 350 and let that preheat. And then we're going to brown the meat. So I've got a pound of ground beef here. I'm going to turn this up to about medium-high heat. Just going to break this up. We're going to get this nice and brown. And once it's cooked, I'll weigh it so we have the right amount and put it back in the pan. But there's no point in weighing it since the recipe calls for cooked. There's no point in weighing it now while it's raw when the recipe calls for it cooked. So I'm just going to go ahead and brown this up, and I'll be back when that's done. I also want to show you guys, so this is the leftover meat from the pound that I browned, and it's about 2 ounces left. So if you're feeling really hungry during the day, you're allowed an additional 3 ounces of meat. And my boyfriend has been getting really hungry, so I've been, I was giving some of it to the dog, but now I'm just putting it in a little Ziploc baggie, and then I give it to him, so if he's having a really hungry day, that he can add this to whatever he's eating. So, and it works really well if it's not seasoned. So this isn't seasoned. It works really well. Okay, so the meat's all been cooked, and I got 10 ounces here. I'm gonna add the basil, the tomatoes, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're just going to let this cook for a couple of minutes. Stir around, and we're just going to let this, just for like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, let this go. So I will come back when that is all set. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes, and this is kind of what you're left with. So let's get the other ingredients going. Alright, we're going to get the zucchini ready. This is a mandolin. You have to be really careful about not losing your fingers when using this. So just pay attention to what you're doing, and don't get your fingers too close to the blade. And I'm just gonna slice this up. And we just need some circles. And I'm doing about this thin. I'm gonna do 2 small zucchinis. The recipe calls for 1 large or 2 small. So I'm gonna get these going, and then we'll get the dish ready. Okay, we're gonna get the cheese mixture ready right now. We need the 1/2 cup of ricotta. And I was having difficulty at the store finding ricotta, and I was actually going to use cottage cheese. So like when my mom used to make lasagna, she wouldn't use ricotta, she would use cottage cheese. So so there's an alternative, especially in this time when you're trying to find everything and you can't find it because everything's, you know, done. So we're going to use part of the mozzarella. We're going to use 3/4 cups of it, which is about roughly what I got here, 3/4 cups of mozzarella. There's a bit of other cheese mixed in here, but that's okay. It all tastes good. Then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of parm, and that's basically 3 pinches. Just don't go nuts on your pinches. You know, just a little bit. Make sure Lady Bear gets some. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of egg beaters. We're going to do, if you had garlic powder and you were going to put it in, you'd put it in now. My boyfriend hates garlic, so we're not putting that in. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. And we're going to do, we're just going to mix this up together. Get this really good and mixed. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's put this dish together. You're going to take your meat mixture and you're going to put it all on the bottom of a baking dish. They didn't tell me the size of the baking dish, so I'm using a 13x9 pan. That's my baking dish. I don't know if we need a smaller one or what, but they just said this size, so just kind of get it out evenly. Then we're going to put our cheese mixture over top. And actually, from the look of it, you probably should use a smaller container. And so what I'm gonna do is push this over a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of maybe use half of the pan or a portion of it. Just kind of scooch everything over. I think it needs to be a smaller dish. Okay. Okay. And you're gonna try to smooth over the cheese mixture over top as much as possible. Just take your time with it. Almost on every little bite, you want a little bit of the cheese mixture. So try to get that going. Alright, that looks pretty good. Then we're going to take the zucchini that we sliced up and you're going to put it over the top. it doesn't say if it needs a single layer or what. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got quite a bit of zucchini left over. I'm just gonna really layer this up with the zucchini. It should cook fine. All right, that should probably be good. Then you're gonna take the rest of the leftover cheese, which should be about 1/4 of a cup, and you're just gonna sprinkle it over the top. And then we're gonna bake this for 40 minutes in the 350-degree oven. And then I will show you what that looks like. Okay, here it is out of the oven. And it says that it is 1 lean, 1/2 green, and 2 condiments. I think I'll be having some broccoli with this when I do go to eat it. It serves 4. And it also says that it's really good to freeze. So you can put it in a Ziploc container and freeze it. So that looks really delicious.